I was an idiot and screwed up the audio. I'm going to do an abbreviated version. I'm just try and fly through it. I know the last one was 26 minutes. I'm going to try and make this one less than 10 minutes. I'm going to go through 4 laps. I'll do it really quick, turn by turn, the first lap, then I'll let the other 3 laps play through, and there's a couple little tidbits to touch on in those. Further ado, here we go. Off the final turn, headed into turn 1, you get up to 6th gear here. A couple things to remember on this car. Shift lights. The second red LED is when you want to shift up. You'll see strips of LEDs here, strips of LEDs here. They will light up red when there is a tire lockup. I think I have one going into turn 1 here. And then they'll show various multiple numbers of ones that light up, like a light blue. That's when traction is actually broken. So I'll touch on those a little bit when they happen. But I do think I lock up the right front a little bit going to turn 1 here. Turn 1 though, it's easy. I start braking at the 200 sign, get it all the way down to 3rd gear. I think the second lap here I use 4th gear to try and carry more speed. I think ultimately 3rd gear is going to be the better gear. But maybe even a little bit before 200, more between 200 and 300. Try and get all your braking done in a straight line, turn in, get as close to the curb as possible. Yep, there's the lockup. Try and get in as close to this curb as possible, right sides on this part of the curb, and then you can push out really as far left as you want to. I've seen people push further than this, and then you run the risk of just trying to funnel in before this grass. The grass will be an off track. All this is not. But if somebody gets to the inside of you, I've seen incidents. So I would try and not run super duper wide. The S's here are flat out. Just nice wide arcs through them to try and little wheel input as possible. Carry as much speed as you can. Get up to 6th gear right there. I'm going to call this the bus stop. Some people call it the interloop. Again, you got braking markers. I brake kind of in line with the 300 sign. That's what I look for. A little bit after that, you'll see a dark patch on the track. You can use that as a visual guide as well. The dark patch is actually where it's starting to rubber in. This turn is pretty tricky. You're going to get down to 4th gear here. You can really abuse the curbs and even get some tires into the grass a little bit. But you want to clip the white part of the curb pretty much in all four parts of it. Car will get a little unstable if you clip it too much, but it's not too bad. Stay in 4th gear for here. Maybe a little bit of braking, maybe 10%, like a trail brake. By trail brake, I mean 10%, and then just kind of ease out of it. This dark section on the track's a good point to like get back out of the throttle and just kind of, I jab it a little bit real quick, and then I just let it coast. Give it a little bit of throttle, and then here's where I'm full commitment to. You can see your exit over here, different than the NASCAR version. You push out to the left here, so you got a lot of runoff, so you want to carry as much speed out to the left as possible. You'll get up to 5th gear. You can use a lot of this curb, just watch out for the grass. So brake a little bit before this dark patch, the strip that goes across the grass. Going to get down to 3rd gear, but you want to avoid the white curb on the inside here. So down to 3rd. Get as close to the yellow line as possible, but try and avoid the white curb. It'll push you out to the right if you're not careful. And then you're going to trail out to the white curb on the right. Don't abuse it too much, though, because it's a little bit narrower. And then there's grass right after it, so it'll try and grab your tires and pull you towards the wall. Another turn, another 200 sign that I use to brake. So brake the 200 down to 2nd gear. This turn's a little bit of a later apex, probably 3/4 into the turn. Kind of follow this asphalt patch here is a good line to follow. It gets closer and closer to apex. back to full throttle right here. Exit as far out to the left as possible. That turn can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes you gotta feather the throttle a little bit more to prevent wheel spin. You get up to 5th gear here. Yeah, you'll get up to 5th. Another turn, another 200 brake marker. Same deal. Brake 200, try and get it all done in a straight line. And down to 2nd gear. Avoid this curb. You can see it's pretty angled. It will upset the car and push you out to the left, get it really tight. So as close as you can, but just don't touch that curb. And then push out to the left. Up to 3rd gear. You'll stay in 3rd gear here. This is probably the trickiest turn on the track. You don't really have great braking markers. You can try and maybe use this fence kind of relative to where you are. It kind of ends over here as well. Gonna be a little bit after that. Down to 2nd gear. You want to have a little bit of a later turn in here. This turn is off camber, so it kind of falls away from you, so the car just doesn't seem to want to turn. But you want to absolutely avoid hitting the curb on the left at all, if at all possible. The car will get really tight and jolt off to the right. So just try and avoid it. I know in these laps I hit it more than a couple times, but ideally you don't want to hit it. Trail out to the right here. Gonna get up to 4th gear. I don't brake for this turn. I just lift. Start lifting and a turn in at the 100 brake marker. You're gonna be out of throttle for maybe 2 seconds before you're getting back into it and actually out to the right. You can hit the curb a little bit here. Just don't get the tires into the grass. You can use up pretty much this entire white curb, but immediately after this, you want to get off to the left of the track. Start braking at the end of the black tire wall here. And then right where, that's the button I wanted. Right where the white line starts angling to the left and the grass starts going to the left, right there a little bit after that is a good turn-in point. Another curb you want to try and avoid if possible. You want to get really close to it though. Staying in 4th gear for this turn and carrying a lot of speed out to the left. Just watch out for that tire wall. And then these 2 laps or 3 laps I'm going to let play through full speed. It will be I try 4th gear here and push out wider. I think ultimately though using 3rd gear is just smarter play. All these are playing through. So these bottom 4 laps are these laps we're talking about. So this ends up being my fastest lap. You can use a lot of curbs there in that bus stop. But these 4 laps all worth 5/10 of one another. I ended up just using the baseline setup and changing the traction control settings to 5 for both of them to provide a little bit more aid than what the default setup has. I missed I'm way off the apex here. So that's where it just doesn't want to turn. I was too wide from the get-go and just never got it to the apex. That was a pretty good turn there. I go back to using 3rd gear for turn 1 here. exit to that turn is just so important because you're flat out through this entire section. So, especially if you're behind somebody, you're going to get a big tow here, and this is where a lot of passing opportunities are going to be. A lot of people will run a defensive line to the right to keep you behind them. Hopefully, especially a race like this, people just let you go early on. Alright, this final lap, there's a couple things I know for sure that happen on this lap. At one point, I get into the throttle really hard, and you can hear the engine bog itself down, and you'll see these LEDs on both sides light up, 2 or 3 of them each, a light blue. One on the left side, traction control 1, that is your... when you think of traction control, just stomp on the throttle in a straight line. It's spinning the tires and helping cut the power. The one on the right, I think, is like lateral grip traction control, so it kind of prevents like a slide in a turn. But yeah, you can hear the engine kind of shudder. I don't know what the right term. It's going to be this next turn here. And pay attention to the LEDs, and you'll see it and hear it. And then exiting the final turn is an example of cutting it a lot closer than what you want to do. I get extremely close to the tire walls. It's an easy way to pancake the wall, ruin your race, potentially bend some suspension. But if you got any questions or anything about this video, let me know. Definitely will answer you. Yeah. Show you how close I get to the wall. Don't do this. Alright, that's it. See you guys later.